She's been described as a firecracker, Caribbean cultural ambassador, daughter of the soil, a Jane of all trades, wife, mother, sister, friend. She is Giselle Blanche. Most of us know her as Giselle D Wassi One. This is her story. Giselle.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, stop.
See, every time I talk to you, that's all you do is giggle. I don't know, guys.
The thing about it, though, is that we have history.
Definitely.
And you also have a lot of history. You have many stories to tell. The story of a woman, as we discussed, and we didn't even need to go any further, is about a woman who has influenced, who nurtures, who empowers. We're talking about her impact, her positive impact. And when I started this, immediately you were at the top of my list. Not because you're my friend, but because I know of your struggle, I know of your success, I know of your drive, and I know of your continued efforts culturally, for women, and in so many other spheres. So I just want to say thank you.
You're welcome.
I just want to say thank you. But let's start with Giselle, the little girl growing up, getting into radio, getting into production, being out there. You're mad or what? You're not mad or what?
You know, that it's funny because people always ask me to tell my story and tell them how I started. I guess because culture has always been such an integral part of my life. It never feels like, I can't really say when I can tell you when I started the band. I started the band at 14, but to say when I started, I think I never stopped there, so there was never a start, if you understand. It was just a part of my life, a part of my constant life. My parents are also people who love culture, yes, and have you know, committed and done so much and dedicated so much of them that it's funny, you know. When I was going to school, my initial thing was I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a gynecologist obstetrician because I wanted to, in some way, to help people with their life, do something special in their life. And what's more special than going through the pregnancy period with a woman and actually bringing a child into, well, you don't forget your doctor's name, if you know what I mean, you know? So and that was one of the things that I had wanted to do. And it's funny because a time when I was in college, in my early college years, Marshall Montano's dad was at my house and he was talking to my parents. He's like, listen to me, this girl love music, and when music call you, you have to go. So all you stop wasting all your money. And they were like, no, no, no. And I mean, eventually I wouldn't say it was a waste. I mean, you know, everything in life is an experience, but my transition came, like I told you, I started the band at 14 because we had moved from New York at that time, right? You know, I was born and raised in New York to two phenomenal Trinidadian parents. And we had moved from New York and wanted to bring our vibe here to South Florida. So that's when we decided to start the band. And we were part of Borough Keats in New York. Borough Keats and Hawks was like family to us as well. So we came down here and we were going to be a division of Borough Keats, but they already had somebody here who wanted to do it or was kind of doing it. So we ended up doing this Wassi thing. At that time, I don't know if you remember, Super Blue had a song, yes, Ready Like Freddy. Yes, yes. Yeah, that's the one. So we took the Wassi from there, and then the original Wassi man from New York, he was also a part of our whole team and family circle and carnival circle. So we just transferred that to here, and that's how that became the Wassi Ones in Miami, you know? So, I mean, like I said, I don't know of any time when I wasn't doing it. The radio thing happened very naturally as well. One of the guys I was going to college with, by the name of Daddy Saw, you know, I came from the underground radio station, yes, Mix 96.1 in South Florida. And that station, although it was underground, or pirate, as they like to say, station, made so many of the people that you see now in the forefront of so many genres. Walshy Fire, DJ Khaled. I used to mic for DJ Khaled. You know what I mean? We from the Madhouse days, those people who know us from then. And that happened very naturally. They used to play at my birthday parties and stuff. So, you know, when Daddy Saw decided he wanted to try this radio station thing, he's like, you have to do it. I don't know anybody who loves soca more than you, because all of these were big reggae DJs and hip hop DJs at the time. They're like, oh, we're not playing soca. Those same people that you see now loving up my ting. Yes, I want to say I had a little influence in that. They're the ones who were like, you know, at that point, no, I would give them soca records at that time. Records, listen, you be playing at my party, you have to play this. So, you know, that happened very naturally, and the radio just was like a blessing. It was literally a gift. He actually died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he said that before he passed away, he said, "This is going to be the last thing I ever ask you to do for me." And I swear to you, it was given to me with love, and it's now how I live. You know, I mean, well, the whole cultural thing is how I live. I've tried to have regular jobs, but this is something. This is
who you are. So let's talk about, coming up the road, as we would say in Trinidad, from level 1 to, let's say you're at a level 10 right now. The struggle is real.
Very much so.
I've been around for some of them.
Yeah.
As a woman. And it's so unfortunate that we have to be described as, oh, she can't do this, she can't do that. And you always have to push harder and make that extra effort and create the space that's necessary, because sometimes the walls are there, but you open that hole. You drill that hole.
You know what's funny is that a lot of times we have some sayings that I think, and please forgive me, just my own mindset and my own thought process and my own experience. People say that kindness is weakness, but I actually believe that kindness is strength.
It is.
You know what I mean? Being submissive is a form of weakness, but I actually believe that being submissive is also another form of strength. And a lot of times I've had to take a lot of pats on the head, a lot of, all right, you did that, that's great. We're glad you did that, but you stand right here. We got you. We'll take care of this. And I mean, I don't always think, I don't want to say necessarily that it's always because I'm a woman. I think it's a lot of time it's because strong people are, when you're really and truly strong and you recognize, let me be more specific. When you're strong and you recognize that you're strong, a lot of people think that you're weak. I think that's been my experience in life, because I recognize that I have strengths and certain, because a lot of if you realize a lot of people who you find in contention, who are always in a competition, it's actually in fact a sense of weakness, a sense of insecurity. I'm not one of those people who's ever, and I definitely credit this to my parents, who's ever needed validation. So when things happen, yes, I feel broken sometimes. Yes, I feel frustrated, but I'm really, really great at picking myself up and dusting myself off.
So let's talk about contention. Let's talk about validation. Broken. I just want to dive deep, because part of this process here, this series, is ideally to share our stories and to help other women who feel that sometimes they have to do a little bit too extra in order to be seen and to be heard and just to be themselves. Let's talk about some of your, maybe the lowest point you've ever had that would have taken you to another level. It may have broken you at the time, or it may have appeared to have broken you, but it would have been a blessing in disguise, because here you are.
So, funny that you asked that. So in my separation from my husband Marlon at the time, which is Trini South Boys, we are Soca Survivor, and that type of thing. It's so funny that you asked me this question, because it's so relevant, particularly at the time that we're in, just 3 weeks out from Miami Carnival. And actually today is actually literally 3 weeks to the event that I'm about to tell you about. So, without getting too deeply into it, when I was separating, Soca Survivor was our thing. And I'm not a fighter. I'm a fighter, yes, but not the kind of fighter that you may think, if you understand. So, at that time, we had Dave, which they were Islands United, and it was Trini South Boys and Mix 96. They were Soca Survivor. And in the separation, I didn't want to go back and forth. Well, this is mine and that is yours. So I was trying to figure out a way to find my space in something that I invested so much in, being at Soca Survivor as well as Miami Carnival. And that's how the breakfast party came about, Rise Miami Meet Shine New York. It was actually Rise and Shine initially. And deceased Selman Lewis was the person who got my first venue for me, which was Solos on the Bay. That was maybe about 11, 12 years ago. You know what I mean? And that I think that was my public stand-up for myself, kind of thing. I mean, just always, wanting to claim a space. When I say claim a space, not anybody's space, but my own space. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it have 700 islands. Why do I have to try and inhibit the 200 that are already inhibited? Let me inhibit my own. And that was what I did. I created my own. And I always tell people that event was created with love and respect for other people. At that time, Thursday night was girl power, and the New Yorkers would come and they'd be like, oh, they would get there, what's there to do now? What's there to do? And then there was nothing to do. Friday night would have been flag night for Soca Viper. So I was like, let me leave these staples alone. Let me try and find my own space. And I did, and that was, my breakfast party. Now, it's become, because Carnival has become such a big business, it's you find that people now, they don't care about those things. Anybody will come, they'll do whatever they want, especially here in South Florida. South Florida has become like an open sepulcher when it comes to promotions and that type of thing. So, I just maintain myself, maintain my order, stay in my lane, and represent what I need to represent and do what I need to do for the people and for the culture. So, you asked me about hardships and coming out. That was definitely one of them publicly. Personally, I want to say separating from a lot of the entities that I was known for being a part of. Not when I say separating, meaning like actually branching out and doing things as Wassi for Wassi versus Wassi for Trini Style Boys or Wassi for Mix 96 or Wassi for Soca Viper. I still am and empower and embody a lot of those elements, but I'm also Giselle the Wassi One, period.
So how hard was that though, jumping out into your own?
Extremely, because I'm one of those people that I'm extremely forgiving, but I have a memory like an elephant. I don't forget anything, and through a lot of what I've been through and continue to go through, I love a lot of people and I love deeply, and I respect a lot of people, especially when you contribute in a positive way to what I love. This is my life. This is it here. Aside from my family and my personal, my son and my personal people, but a lot of those people that I love, a lot of the things that I love, a lot of the things that I represent and empower have hurt me.
Yeah. Bad.
You know what I mean? Have hurt me, have cut me deep, and continue to do that. But again, like I said, my pick yourself up and dust yourself off game, that's on 10. So it's about remaining focused. It's remaining focused and understanding your purpose. There's nothing like a person, in particular a woman, who knows what her role is in life. And once you know that, I didn't know for a long time, for a long time I was lost and just broken without like maybe the general public knowing that, but inside, internally just broken and being like, these are the people I love, these are the people that I would give my last to, and that's how they treat me, boy. Now I totally understand. Now I can do it, and it's not even a thought, because I've finally figured out exactly what I am, who I am, and what my purpose is. And like I said, there's nothing like that. The level of confidence, the level of your ability, not level, but your ability to be that person in the world is unstoppable. And you see it, so a lot of people be like, oh, I don't know how you do it. And it's not me, and it was God. And they always tell you that when you find your purpose and you know your God, you're unstoppable. And I honestly and truly believe that. I think that I'm living testimony of that. I don't do anything. I'm not your greatest planner. I won't say I'm a visionary. I wouldn't consider myself a planner. So I won't say I will. If I show you my book of my thoughts, or a book or the paperwork for what I do, you'll be like, my God, Giselle, what is this? Because you wouldn't be able to understand it, but I do. So there are those people that are very meticulous, and this book is that, and these rules, this, that. No, I'm a person that I go with my vibe. I think my vibe and my energy is what has kept me alive and consistent and relevant to this point, and that's what I live by. So when you see I do something or I say something, know that that's what it is. There's no hidden agenda. There's no contention. There's no, if I say this and I say, Nicole, I love you, just know that I love you. Flawed, perfect, good day, bad day, hair done, hair not done, makeup not done. You understand what I'm saying? I've learned throughout the years that I think if I had to ever identify something special about myself, is that I understand and love and respect humans. I don't want to say people, because then they might think about it, I'm just thinking about my people, but I say humans. I have that human nature that we're all supposed to have. I think I've found that in a way that makes me stand out in my environment, because we don't have a lot of that anymore.
We don't.
And not just in our community and in our genre, but in general in life. When you see certain things happening in the world, you're saying, this is really going on in 2019. You know, it's crazy. So I think those are my blessings. You know, I wouldn't say that necessarily I'm a financial pinnacle, but you see, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and within my contributions, I definitely feel like a winner.
Yeah, you are.
I think as a safety officer, my job is very important. It's an industry that's requiring a lot of physical and technical components. And as such, the safety component it goes without saying that it's absolutely essential in an industry such as this. My role, I think anybody could do that. I would hope, though, that being a woman would drive other professionals to want to do something like this. I think in a male-dominated industry, there's a certain amount of respect that comes along with this position. When I joined West Indies Oil, there were just a few women, and so many more have joined in so many different positions. And it's really an inspiration to be in the company of such diverse women.
Thank you to our partners, the Halo Foundation, WEOC, where innovative oil solutions count, Geo's, It's That Good, Simply Coffee Antigua, Studio 72 Antigua, Simply Me, Down West Car Rentals, more than just a good deal. So that road, the trial and tribulation road that has brought you here now to the fore, people who support you, people who love you, people who have hurt you and probably continue to hurt you, but they make you better and bigger philosophically. Women supporting women, and women who say they support women, and that's the elephant in the room.
Because nobody wants to talk about.
Nobody wants to talk about.
It's
We continue to say, I support you, I love you, I'm going to do this for you. Giselle is my girl, Nicola is my girl, I'm there for her. But the minute you turn your back, it's like if it's just second nature for some, not all. It's second nature, and you get the daggers in the back. It could be minor, it could be major. But we refuse to acknowledge that we need to make a change.
We definitely do.
But I'm not sure how we do that.
It's funny and ironic, right? Remember I came to the Women's Empowerment Experience with you and Lisa in February last year, right? After Carnival, March or February, I can't remember exactly what month it is. And so that December before that, I launched an initiative, CIWI, which is the Caribbean Women's Empowerment Experience.
Yes.
And, sometimes when you start to do something, you may have a vision, but when God says yes or no, that's what it is. So when I started it, I had so many grand things that I wanted to put into place. But I'm a person that I need things to be done a certain way. And when I have my vision, I want my vision to be clear. It can't be clouded with anything. And I will tell you, I wasn't able to necessarily put my initiative into full action, but I'll tell you, it started action.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
After that launch that December, what year are we in, 19? So December 2017, after that launch, let me tell you something. The amount of experiences, the amount of women who saw and probably felt that energy and felt like they needed to step up and do something, they did. So my initiative, I may not have been able to bring it into live fruition, but I definitely know that it activated.
Yeah. You got the ball rolling.
Yes,
Yeah.
so many things and so many people. And, again, you have to recognize things for what they are. And that's where a lot of people feel, there may be people whose initial thing may have been, you know what, she's doing that, I can do that better. Yeah? And there may be those people who said, you know what, she's right. We need to do this. You understand? How you differentiate, I don't know. How we make a difference, is we embrace them all. You understand what I'm saying? The woman or the person or the artist or the designer or anyone who ever feels like when they encounter me, they're going to use me, it's a very sad thing for them. Why I would say that is because they can't use me. I'm already being used by God. I'm a vessel. So don't ever feel like you're getting over, ha ha ha, or whatever it is. That doesn't exist in Wassi's world, which is the world that I've created for myself, to keep myself sane, to keep the things that I believe are sacred, and to know that once you're in this space, you will respect these things and these elements. What you do outside of Wassi's world, that's on you. But when you're in mine, this is how we operate.
Let's talk about Black women. Let's talk about Black women. Let's talk about the issues and challenges we face. And let's not only talk about Black women, but let's talk about Caribbean women, because then that's another level that we're dealing with as well. So we're in a space now where competing is not the word, but enabling ourselves and continuing to do what we do sometimes proves very, very difficult. Just based on what you said just now, what that initiative that you started in 2017, you know, there was a ripple effect to that. But how does Giselle stand up and continue? I know God is in charge, but what about when, you know, you are faced with you and you say, yes, God, I'm going to do this, but, you know, there's so many other hurdles and obstacles in your way. What do you do?
Testimony. Testimony. It's so funny, yeah? Because you'll find that when I do get into that zone, because I'm human, when I do get into that zone, like, you know what? This isn't making sense. It's too much for too little. It's too much for people who don't care. It's too much pain from people that I love. Let me come out of this and maybe we'll all be able to live in peace and harmony. And when I go through all of that and I say all of that and I feel all of that, it's either I have to snap myself back into focus, because a lot of times we look for love and appreciation in all the wrong places. And you know, you'll say, and I wouldn't necessarily go for the word validation, but appreciation, you understand, is something so important. It's important to keep people's morale up. It's important for people to know that for them to continue to do for you. But when somebody, you know, is insatiable and you say, here, Nicola, here's 2 coffee cups, so you couldn't give me 4? That doesn't make me want to even give you 1. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying? So based upon that, based upon, you know, trying to remain focused, and then having people like you call me up, you wouldn't believe, you were testimony. This is a dread time of the year for me. Anybody who does this or knows me and knows what I go through at this time, it's a dread time of the year for me. It's a time where, you know, everything feels overwhelming. You know, you keep questioning yourself, why are you doing this, boy? Why I putting myself through this, Jesus? You know? And then somebody like you calls and say, hey, G, I'm doing a story on the strength of a woman. And that's, oh, I don't want to cry, but those little things, that's testimony. That's God telling me, hey, I send Nicola to let you know you're good. You're not doing the wrong thing. You're in the right place at the right time. You know what I mean? Even with the makeup artist this morning, like her conversation with me, it was just, you know, and these are the little things. And again, when you know who you are and you're spiritually aware and awake, I think that's the key to it, you know. I think another thing is that people don't realize that the strongest thing, I don't care how much gym you're going, the strongest thing that God has ever given you is your mind. You can think yourself into wellness. You can think yourself into greatness. You can think yourself into being and any and everything that you want to be, good, bad, or indifferent. You know? And again, some of us who have power and understand power, we use for good, and some of us use for bad. So it's just being able to differentiate and being able for people to recognize who you are. And more than that, more than who you are, okay, maybe you may not be the greatest. What you want to be remembered by. What is your legacy? What is your legacy? You know, and I was, like I said, we were talking before, just us, you know, getting ourselves prepared. And I was telling you how Whitney Houston, she's one of the people, you know, although she was troubled, it's so understandable, because when you put your heart at the forefront of your person, you open yourself up for so many things. And I know because I go through that all the time. And it was sad that a part of her was weak and felt like she needed to put herself in jeopardy. Because when you go to those levels, I mean, we all indulge in something that may not be, you know, for everyone. But I'm just saying, when you go to those levels, there's a little bit of self-destruction within you. And a lot of times the people that you love don't realize that they're doing that to you by applying unnecessary pressure. It wasn't necessarily the public that did that, you know, it was the people in her direct circle that was applying so much pressure that she didn't know how to handle, because she wanted to go to every limit to make them happy and to please them, to take them out of, be it poverty, to take them out of a bad day, so she extended herself so much that she lost herself. Really easy to happen. That's why you see so many stars, and that's one of the things that I always try to take in. So many stars, people that you think are quote unquote successful, taking their lives or ending up in these desolate, desperate positions. I can see it. I'm not on any of those levels, but I can see it and I can understand it. You know what it's like for 2 months for your phone to be ringing constantly, everybody feeling like they can't live without you, they have to talk to you every minute, and then as soon as whatever it is done, not a soul, not a call on Christmas, not an invitation to a Thanksgiving, nothing, boy.
Yeah, I hear you with that.
The average person can't live through that.
Can't live through that.
The average person can't go through that. You understand?
And
They won't understand it. Listen, you know how many people just want to know how I'm doing during Army Fest or during Miami Carnival? Any other day of the year you think they care? That's the most, hey, how you going, girl? So long I ain't see you. That's the most I'll get. After that, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Planning, without key data and analysis, identifying key performance indicators, it's impossible to make a good decision. And so that is exactly what my role is, giving that support so that management can make effective decisions. Based on the culture of West Indies oil, it is mainly male dominated because of the nature of the business. But I see that West Indies oil is moving in a very innovative and strategical way. And so this provides opportunities for women to fill those roles that were previously dominated by men. Being in this role will motivate other women to follow in this trend.
Thank you to our partners, the Halo Foundation, WEOC, where innovative oil solutions count, Geos, It's That Good, Simply Coffee Antigua, Studio 72 Antigua, Simply Me, Down West Car Rentals, more than just a good deal.
Join us next week for part 2 of Giselle D Wassi One on the next episode of The Story of a Woman.